All right, Ben, you're recording.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Jim. Welcome, everybody. Tonight, we are doing a virtual community information meeting for Frozen 4 Corporation for our proposed marijuana establishment for delivery only at 24 Williams Way in Bellingham, Mass. The agenda was on the town's web homepage, whatever, tonight. But as far as how much I'm going to be speaking, it's not going to be very long because delivery only is a little bit different than a normal marijuana establishment, especially in Bellingham, as I'll explain. What I'd like to first do is just introduce Luke Marut. You could wave, Luke, and Andrea Barone. Luke is our director of products. He's also one of my partners. Andrea is our director of compliance. And they're here in case I stumble over the words I'm trying to say. We need to do a virtual community meeting, and we're doing it obviously virtual because of COVID. It's one of the requirements to the application process. So we sent out certified mail to all of the abutters, and we posted the notice in the Bellingham Bulletin, as I'm sure most of you saw who are here. And that is one of the requirements, and that's why we are doing it. A delivery-only marijuana establishment is just that. We can only do home delivery. And the way that the regulations are currently written by the Cannabis Control Commission is that the delivery-only business will take orders from customers. That will be, we'll have a partnership with a dispensary. Obviously, the dispensary will not be located in Bellingham because Bellingham does not allow dispensaries. The drivers will leave 24 Williams Way with empty vans. They will drive to dispensaries, they will pick up orders, and they will deliver them to people's homes. At the end of the day, they'll return to 24 Williams Way with empty vans. So basically, for all intents and purposes, this impacts Bellingham in the sense of we're using it as a garage. Think of Uber Eats, think of Grubhub, think of Instacart, exact same thing. Hopefully the Grubhub driver is not going home with food in his car, because if he is, he stole your food. Same thing here. So everything has to be logged. All the vans have to be driven by 2 people wearing body cameras. So the same level of security and regulation applies to this that applies to everything else within cannabis. So as of now, the only real impact on the town of Bellingham is going to be that we'll probably have 3 to 4 extra Transit Connect vans at 24 Williams Way than we would have normally had. Other than that, there really isn't any impact in Bellingham. Bellingham could have home delivery only if the selectmen voted to allow it and called the CCC and asked for it to be allowed. I have no idea if that's going to happen. That it's nothing to do with this. But the way the regulations are written is that home delivery is only available in communities where dispensaries are allowed to be located. So that's obviously that. So, I mean, really, there isn't much else to it because we've already been established in Bellingham, because we already have the facility at 24 Williams Way. It will have really 0 impact on the town at all. So I think if people have any specific questions that they wanted to ask or items to discuss, we're happy to do that. But there really isn't anything else to the delivery only business to share with you other than that, unless Luke or Andrea thinks I forgot something. Andrea shaking her head no, as is Luke. Both got thumbs up, double thumbs up. Are there any questions?
I see maybe two people from the public. I don't know if either Jennifer or Beth have questions. And obviously Dennis Frayne, town administrator, joined us as well. I'm not seeing anything on my end.
Okay.
Hey, Ben, you
yes,
want to just touch on? I know you and I talked, but for Jim's information anyway, and Beth and Jennifer, what your timetable looks like, big picture.
Sure. With delivery, I mean, a lot of that is going to depend on the Cannabis Control Commission. I'm not quite sure that they're going to be awarding licenses when the application is submitted and people will get started. So for the sake of not speculating, our goal is that, we'll basically, as soon as we have a provisional license from the CCC, we will get our vans outfitted. We'll call for a post-provisional inspection, and we'll have arrangements with dispensaries, and we'll be, building our website. So our goal is to be operating the delivery-only aspect of the business in 2020, probably, sometime between Columbus Day and Christmas in there. And then, but again, a lot of that's going to depend on when they roll out the final regulations and whatnot. I mean, if we apply for the license tomorrow and we get a provisional in early September, then that would start earlier, obviously, because there's not that much ramp up needed on that. We'll need to hire probably 8 to 10 people. Same opportunities as we offered before. We'll obviously open that up to Bellingham residents first. Anyone who's interested. I know we've had a couple of people reach out to us already who are interested in the transportation delivery role. I got a thumbs up from Jennifer. I've got 3 now, so I'm on a roll, and we'll be able to kind of ramp up quickly. Most of the work is on the web side of things, which will be unfortunately Luke's cross to bear, just because we're going to have to arrange for, people will basically be buying off of somebody else's menu. So if we're delivering it, they're going to be going to we're going to have relationships with dispensaries. People will make choices on that, of that dispensary's menu. Then we'll pick it up and we'll deliver it to them. So it's a lot of web building, but I don't see there's any reason why we won't be operating the delivery only business by, goal would be pre-Thanksgiving. So we're available for the holidays, especially in the COVID world. That would be an ideal setting for us. And then the rest of our Bellingham operations will probably ramp up in, April or May of 21. So by this time of 2021, we'll be fully operating in Bellingham from all aspects: cultivation, product manufacturing, and delivery. But I would think probably the first 4 to 5 months will be delivery only in Bellingham once we get going.
Good. What would you expect to run, Ben? Since we're here, we might as well ask you a few questions.
Sure.
As far as daily hours of operation, and I know you talked about territory before. Maybe you could touch on that again, how expansive your territory would be.
Sure. There actually is some regulations, like the cutoff time. The delivery time needs to end at either 7 or 8 p.m. So we'll probably have 9 to 7, 9 to 8 would probably be the hours of operation. But again, they'll be just the 9 a.m. would be when they'd show up and clock in Bellingham and start going, get the vans to go out, and then 7 or 8 o'clock would be them coming back and checking the vans in empty and signing the logs and closing them up for the night. Territorially, what we're going to do is, the way the current regulations are written, it's impossible to try to deliver everywhere. So once we have some dispensary, if we have a dispensary partner in Boston, we'll have a van that will go to Boston and we'll stay in Boston all day, and then we'll come back at the end of the day. So they'll come into Bellingham in the morning, check the van out, drive to the dispensary in Boston, and then they might end up making 2 or 3 trips from the dispensary to homes and back to that dispensary. And we'll obviously be focusing on the most dense areas. So I could see us, this is all preliminary kind of layout, but I could see us focusing on Boston, Brookline with one team, Framingham, area with another team, Cambridge, Somerville with the team, maybe Quincy, Braintree, kind of the upper end of the South Shore with the team. But, there's only so many hours in the day. You have 2 guys and they have to do a lot of driving in order to make deliveries. You have to go to the dispensary and then deal with traffic and make it. And they have to show everybody on their body cams as they're making the deliveries, et cetera. It's not like, it's not Amazon where you get to throw the package at the front porch, ignoring the sign that says don't leave packages on the front porch and drive away. So, the goal is that every driver that we send out will have a concentrated area. We're not going to be able to choose Athol and then try to go to Duxbury and then try to go to Mendon and then try to go to the Cape. I mean, it's just, you'd end up making 4 deliveries.
That's great. Jim, anything else?
No, not really question, but just a reminder. So you guys have a permit in hand for the building itself, and there were some conditions in there that I would hate for that to slow you up from opening up. So just if you're probably already mindful of these conditions, but there's a number of them I believe that are tied to occupancy. So I would just take a look at the
But
decisions.
isn't that 26?
Yes.
So
Well,
this is
but
gonna
there's
be
both. There's a little bit of both. I haven't looked at them recently, but we'll take a look at it again. But
Yeah, if we could take a look and have that conversation this week, that'd be great. Because I think with 24, I mean, right now we would need to do, if we're not allowed to warehouse it, then literally we're just going to be parking the vans on the side of the building. If and when it becomes available for warehousing, if that does become an option, it will actually be fine with us, because we'll have at that point have everything built out at 24, inspected by the town, inspected by the CCC. We'll have our vault and our secure areas. So, the only thing that this will probably speed up for us at 24 is just getting our cameras installed on the exterior, so that the vehicles will need to be shown on camera at all times when they're parked. And so we'll have to get NetWatch in there for the exterior part of that. Based on the current regs, they wouldn't need to go on the inside, but we'll be adding them anyway. So, but yeah, if you maybe Jim, you and I can connect on that later this week and just kind of go over, make sure we can hit all those any boxes we need to check.
sounds good.
Give it like a few more minutes, so in case there's any late arrivers, say 7:15.
Yep.
You look like you're working out of a warehouse there, Ben.
That's actually my basement. It's funny.
Nice.
Funny story. The guy who built my house was a commercial builder, and he thought he invented a new way to build residential homes. So my entire house is made of wide span steel beams. So when I did a renovation in 2014, and the building inspector walked in, and I literally on my first floor don't have any walls, and he was like, "You got to put a beam somewhere." I'm like, I don't. I have all these wide span steel beams. And he said, I know, but if somebody walks in the house, they're going to think I didn't do an inspection. So we have a decorative beam in our kitchen. That's like literally the only support that's in the entire thing. He discovered this was not the right way to build residential homes. But I think if a big, massive twister does hit Duxbury, I will probably be the only guy standing when it's over.
Yeah. So you're going to be submitting this tonight, the application?
Tomorrow. Once Jim, I got to wait for Jim to send me the YouTube clip, and then I'll hit submit. Everything else is in the portal, ready to go. And then, I really don't know what the turnaround time is going to be. I know there's only about 150 or so applicants that are pre-certified for it. So, and most of the application process for the CCC is very dense, but the pre-certification was incredibly dense. So they probably had 90% of the materials reviewed during pre-certification. So there's really not much left for the licensing department to go through. So, if I had to venture a guess, I would think we should get a completed notice in September, and maybe get on an agenda for October or so is the goal.
That's great.
Yeah, just anxious to get them started. Well, 7:15. What do you think? Should we call it?
I think Beth had one question. I'm not sure if she can unmute though. It says, can he explain why this handling is necessary just a garage, question mark? I'm not sure I understand the question completely.
Okay, well, I think what she's probably asking is, since we're not doing anything, why do we have to do the meeting and all of this stuff, I'm assuming. And so the way the CCC is set up is that everybody has to do a host community agreement. Everybody has to do a community meeting and notify their abutters. It's basically the law. And so just delivery only is a very unique aspect of the marijuana industry in Massachusetts. And the way they've set it up is in such a way that it does seem counterproductive to do it this way, just because you can't deliver in the town itself. But a lot of people are probably, of those 150 applicants or so, a lot of them are probably doing it in places where they have a dispensary. So it would have a little more of an impact on that town. For us, because our base of operations is in Bellingham, and because of the relationship we have with the town, where we garage the vehicles was inconsequential to us. So if we're going to, be required to sign a host community agreement, be required to pay impact fees, we'd rather pay them in Bellingham than somewhere else. So, when I spoke with Dennis originally about doing this, I did explain that it's really the easiest fee the town will ever collect, because we were going to have vans there anyway. But our goal is to be a great corporate partner of Bellingham, and this is just another way that we felt like it was something we could do with little impact on the town, but also generate an additional. We'll pay over $1 million. We'll pay $1 million in impact fees as part of this. So it felt like the right thing to do based on how supportive and how great the town's been working with us.
It's great.
He said thanks.
Okay.
Ben, I'll try and shoot a Dropbox link over to you tonight.
Okay, great. That'd be awesome. And Beth, I know you're on mute, but we appreciate you taking the time. And Dennis and Jim, as always, thanks. And Jim, I'll shoot you an email later in the week. We can go over the property list about conditions, just to make sure I want to make sure you and I are on the same page, and I'm getting you everything you need.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Night. Thanks, Jim.